Well, hello everyone in Facebook Live. Hello BD Nation. It is that time of the week again. We got CBD 101. We're gonna mix it up a little bit this week. So I want to see who's on Facebook Live. Please drop a 1 if you are watching this live. Please drop a 2 if you're watching a replay. And I want to know where you guys are tuning in from. So let us know. I can't wait for everybody to come on and let us and see where people are tuning in from this week. This week's going to be a great episode, and I can't wait for Dr. Sharma to talk about it. Right there we go, CBD and GI issues. But in the meantime, waiting for everybody to join and say hello. I am coming to you from beautiful Paris right now, and I'm learning my French. So anybody speak French right now on Facebook Live who's watching us? Bonjour. That's some folks.
Bonjour. Ça va? Yeah.
Merci. I'm cheating a little bit. I have a web page open with some words. So it's not like I know it, guys. I know it. That's the beauty of technology now, Dr. Sharma. Like, I can go in there, open my phone, and speak in English, and Google will just speak to them in French. But
yeah, isn't that amazing? Our technology is amazing. Makes things so much easier.
It is. It is. It is.
You probably your whole life never had to use a payphone.
Me? I have.
Oh, I would have thought you were young enough. You're young enough.
Dr. Sharma, I appreciate you thinking that I am younger. It's all the ALLUR that's really helping me make me look like I'm 15. No, that's helping Jed look like he's 15. Well, I see the people coming on. We got Renata from Arizona, Gwendolyn from San Diego. Good to see you. Nebi from Belgium. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Karen from San Diego. How are we doing? We have a lot of people that's on, and there is obviously a little bit of delay from Facebook Live and when we're doing live on Zoom. Like, I nearly forgot the word Zoom. But anyway, if you guys know what time it is in Paris, France right now, that may explain a few things. It is 3 a.m. over here. But ladies and gentlemen who's watching right now, we got Brian from Australia. How you doing? We got Sly from San Diego. We're going to try something very new. And this is going to be a trial episode. And you guys are on right now. We want to have more interaction between you and Dr. Sharma. You know, Dr. Sharma is obviously our headliner. He's amazing. He's helping us with doctor formulated products. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he just wants to have conversation with everybody out here. So what we want to do is, we have also Elmer from the Gold Coast, Australia. I hope I said it right. But I would love every single one of you to spark a conversation with Dr. Sharma. Hey, Charles. Charles is from Phoenix, is on right now. Jenny from Australia. Oh, we got a lot of Australians that's on today, Dr. Sharma.
That's great.
We got Jane Tennis from St. Louis. Oh, now people messaging. Love it. It's coming through a little bit slower for me. Maybe because I'm in France and everything you're typing in English is being converted to French over here, and being converted back to English for me. I don't know. No, I'm just joking. But we are trying to get conversation style here. We have the ability to see all your questions, and as Dr. Sharma is going through the slides, we want to spot questions. So
that'd be great.
For this to happen, two things has to happen. Number one is that as Dr. Sharma goes through the slides, as soon as you think something, please type it in the comment section on Facebook Live. So this way, I can share it with Dr. Sharma before he goes on to the next slide, because there's like a 30-second gap. So you might ask a question, and then within 30 seconds, Dr. Sharma could be on page 5, and he's still on page 1. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, and really need your help, because Dr. Sharma is awesome. He goes, I want to have a closer connection with all the brand ambassadors, not just doing just not talking to a computer screen, right? And obviously, as you build a connection, every week we'll get to know your name. And then when we have our convention, our events, you'll have the ability to talk with Dr. Sharma. So that's going to be really, really cool. He's going to get to know who you are. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to support me and help create conversations, just raise your hand. I will. Hashtag I will, everybody. If you all can hashtag I will, so that I know we've got some people in here that's going to lift up the hands and say, hey, I'm going to support ByDzyne, Chad and Dr. Sharma with the new way of how we're going to do CBD 101 to spark conversation. This way, if you meet prospects or leaders that says, hey, I want to know more about CBD, you say, hey, come have a chat with Dr. Sharma. He's on every Monday, and have a conversation. Slide, thank you very much. Hashtag I will. So Dr. Raymond is going to be one of the ones that's going to be supporting us. Karen Young as well. Silky, for sure, she'll say yes to that. I know Silky. So everybody, during this conversation, during this episode, we just need more of interaction from you guys asking questions. So Dr. Sharma can start building a relationship with every single one of you. Jenny Miller says, I will. Charles Smith says, I will, Dr. Sharma. So
That's
today,
great.
we're going to launch the new way. Well, let's see, the first episode, and we'll go from there. So Dr. Sharma, thank you so much for coming on each and every week. The replays on every episode is in the thousands. So whatever you are helping us with is storing into our wealth of knowledge on Facebook and allowing people to go back to it every single week.
That's great.
And guys, guess what? With conversation, you're going to also help Dr. Sharma come out with the next topics, because there's 52 weeks in a year and 52 topics in CBD. Could be interesting. But as a conversation, guess what? You're going to spark conversation with Dr. Sharma and give him ideas about, he might say, hey, you know what, Sly? That's a great question. Is going to give, well, let's do it next episode, or things of that nature. So Jay Smith says, thank you. Jane Tennis is going to ask. So we have a bunch of people, Dr. Sharma, that has put up a hand and said, I will.
That's
to help
great.
facilitate, and I'm going to help facilitate this conversation style. So with that being said, Dr. Sharma, I'm going to turn it over to you. I might butt in here and there to share with some of the questions that people are asking. And then we're going to get rocking rolling. So here, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, and you can put hands together on Facebook for the one and only Dr. Sanjeev Sharma.
Thanks,
that is with ByDzyne. Over to you, Dr. Sharma.
You bet. Thank you. Today, I wanted to talk to everyone about a really common problem in the West. People have lots of different issues with their GI symptoms. It's an uncomfortable topic to talk about, uncomfortable topic to live with. You have a lot of people with pain, bloating, having to run to the bathroom. It's not something that you definitely want to share with everyone. But it's amazing that over the last 50 years, and it may be how our food is delivered to us nowadays. But there's been a 3 to 4 times incidence in irritable or inflammatory bowel disease in the West. A lot of it has to be done with, really, if you think about the gut, is one way that our bodies are open to the world. And, our skin is a very potent barrier to the world, but our mouths are open to the world. And this allows a lot of bacteria, a lot of different things, along with food, everything that we take in and digest. But the protective functions of the gut are very important in terms of our overall health. There really is a barrier between the outside world and our insides, and the gut plays a really important role in that. When things can get disorganized is if the gut mucosal layer, the protective functions of the gut are damaged and can cause inflammation. CBD plays a really important role because CBD and other cannabinoids interact with multiple different receptors in the lining of the cells of the gut. If there's any type of inflammation that happens in the gut, it'll actually stimulate the production of cannabinoid receptors to decrease inflammation. So if you can look, this is a study done, I believe, 2012, but it looked at all the different studies in the past and reviewed whether there was a change in the function of receptors in the cells of the lung. So if there's any kind of inflammation, UC is ulcerative colitis, and we'll talk about that in more detail. And this is, again, Crohn's disease. Those are two very common inflammatory bowel diseases. And you can see what happens to the cannabinoid receptors when there's inflammation in the gut. Usually you'll have a upregulation in the cannabinoid receptors to basically focus the immune system into fighting and decreasing inflammation in our guts. CBD has a really potent effects on nausea, the sensation of nausea, vomitings, controlled by our brains and the vagus nerve. That's what it's called, the dorsal vagus complex. CBD will actually affect and decrease all the stimulations that create nausea throughout the gut. We talked about how common is inflammatory bowel disease is a very common problem in the Western part of the world. Almost every Western country, it's about 20%. It'll affect twice as many women as men, and usually will occur in the young, younger than 45. And looking at really the two very common inflammatory bowel diseases, you'll hear of ulcerative colitis, and that has to do with inflammation of the colon that starts at the anus, goes through the rectum, sigmoid colon, and up the left colon. It's usually a very continuous part of inflammation. I'm sorry.
So Dr. Sharma, we have Karen Young from San Diego. She's an amazing brand ambassador. I can't wait for you to meet her. I don't know if you probably having to meet her and get to know her.
Sure.
She asked a question, and she basically said, so then it would possibly decrease flare-ups with ulcerative colitis?
Ulcerative colitis, absolutely. So yeah, CBD, when we'll talk about how it affects the cells themselves and the receptors, it'll actually change the health. And that's a great question, but CBD has a really profound effect on inflammatory or irritable bowel disease. Crohn's disease is different from ulcerative colitis in that Crohn's will affect sort of patchy areas of not only the small intestine, usually starts out in what's called the terminal ileum and the cecum. But in both diseases, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, CBD definitely affects and decreases, if used properly, decreases pain, decreases bloating, decreases frequent bowel movements. So great question.
Awesome. And Karen also has been a nurse for the last 30 years. We have a good group of nurses that's
fantastic.
Partnered with us. And also we have some other doctors that has partnered with us too. So that's pretty
great.
Pretty cool.
That's great. And
good question, guys. Keep up with the questions. I mean, you can see how amazing Dr. Sharma is. So yes, keep on asking questions. Thanks, Karen.
We talked about inflammatory bowel disease, but there's other forms that are kind of lumped in, and these are really significant problems for people. All of us, I'm sure, know someone that's got problems with food intolerance or food allergies, whether it's nuts, gluten, lactose, motility disorders of the gut that can cause pain, bloating. Overgrowth of bacteria can cause inflammatory bowel disease. So this affects a lot of people. It's a very common problem, and CBD can really help attenuate the problems or the inflammation that are caused by all these different syndromes.
So Dr. Sharma, with all this, with what you're talking about today, with GI issues, when should they actually use the CBD? Like before they eat food, after they eat food, in the morning, in the afternoon?
Great question. So our ALLUR products are distillates, and so they will last in your body 6 to 8 hours. And again, they're mixed properly in coconut oil so that they will be even smaller molecules and you'll have more bioavailability. You can help that if you're going to have your, let's say you're going to do it 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's a good time because the fat in the food will also help absorb and increase the bioavailability of the CBD. I think that anyone that has gut issues should get on a regimen of using our broad spectrum distillate on a regular basis because it will help decrease the inflammation in the gut, should help with reduced number of flare-ups, and should not only help with the pain, but bloating and frequent bowel movements. Again, as I talked about, our guts are open to the world. That's really one way the world is, if you think about it, can affect our bodies. And a really important part that the endocannabinoid system does is really has a protective mucosal barrier between the outside world and our insides, where that mucosal membrane or barrier is very important to our not only overall gut health, but our overall body health. And because if there's a breakdown in that mucosal barrier, that'll lead to inflammation, that leads to an imbalance, leads to problems that people may have faced. And when inflammation goes unchecked, you get strictures or blockages in the gut.
Okay, Dr. Sharma, there's some questions coming, which I love. Okay, so the question is, hold on, there's a bunch of questions. Motion sickness, it says it definitely helps with motion sickness, right? Hold on, I'm trying to read the question at the same time. So CBD, does it support support and helping with motion sickness? Yes.
So CBD will do some, right. So motion sickness has to do with, it's a little more complex than just brain to gut. Motion sickness has to do with our ears also, and the balance, or our inner ears, and the importance that they play in our balance. So it can be a little bit more complex, but CBD should help deal with nausea. Yes.
Okay.
Great question.
Great. Also, you mentioned that using broad spectrum, is it better to use broad versus full?
So the full, again, I'm a big believer in distillate, whether it's broad or full. The big distinction is that there's a small amount of THC. That small amount of THC is not going to make a huge effect on people in terms, it's such a small amount. But for people that, have, whether it's employment rated or if there's an issue with THC, you just don't want that in your bloodstream, right? Just because you don't want to risk employment. There are some companies that test for THC, just don't want to have that risk. But both products are equally effective.
Perfect. And then we got a good comment here, Dr. Sharma. Maybe you can speak on it a little bit. Jenny Miller is saying that she's loving CBD. She said that I have suffered with diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis, right? That's inflammation of the colon.
Years. Yeah. For many years, and since being on CBD constantly for the last 6 weeks, I have not had any medication for this disorder in the last 4 weeks. That's really cool.
That's very cool. And that's a great, because it as we talked about, sort of mucosal barrier to the bacteria in our gut. Diverticulitis, it's a good case point in that diverticulitis can lead to some really serious infections and inflammation of the gut. And all of those are attenuated by CBD. Great question.
And earlier in the slide, I think you talked about boasting, not boasting, bloating, about bloating. Does our CBD help with the bloating as well?
Right. So bloating, it's just going to decrease inflammation. You know, because anyone that inflammation isn't really just in the cells of the lining. It's going to be inflammation of the other layers of the gut, the blood vessels around the gut or that supply the gut. It's inflammation in all of those areas, and you're decreasing that inflammation. So excellent question.
Great. I mean, we're getting some good questions here. Hey, BD Nation, I'm so proud of you guys for supporting us and supporting Dr. Sharma. And you know what? I want to take my hat off to Dr. Sharma too for saying, hey, I want to get closer to the field. I want to have a conversation style. So thank you. Keep it up. More questions come in, Dr. Sharma. This is good. Do you like it this way?
I do. You know, more interactive we can be, the better.
All right. Okay. Next we have Jane Tennis. She says, should CBD be used as nausea, vomiting versus other anti-nauseants?
Oh, so people that have nausea and emesis or vomiting, you know, I think that I'm not one that makes a generic blanket statement that's going to fix everyone, but I think that CBD will definitely help people that are dealing with inflammatory bowel disease, because it will decrease the inflammation in the gut, decrease all the sort of factors that would promote nausea, emesis, bloating. Absolutely.
Perfect. And Jessica Persky says, definitely worked so much overtime. And she goes, feel the difference. My body is not so tense anymore. That's awesome. Leilani asked, would this be good for kids who have ADHD and ASD? That's a good question.
So that's a very good question. ADHD, the ALLUR product, the broad spectrum ALLUR product, definitely will help, because it has the other terpenes that will help in focusing and relaxing behavior. Because ADHD is associated with impulsivity and all of that. So I think it definitely would help. I don't know the size of her. I think age and weight will kind of affect how much to give. And if that person wants to reach out to me by email or something, we can hopefully facilitate that. That's a more specific question. I think that's, but it, overall, yes, it will definitely help with ADHD. You know, you wouldn't want to give a small child a full dropper. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. Does that make sense?
Perfect. More questions. Wow, this is really cool. So Sly from San Diego asks, so how does CBD heal the gut? Well, I don't think it heals it. It just supports it, but I'll let you answer that question.
So no, great question. So inflammation is not going to only affect the inner lining of the gut. It'll affect all the supportive areas, the muscular layers of the gut, the blood vessels that will support the gut in terms of blood flow. There's inflammation all around this, and CBD helps decrease that inflammation, right? That's what really is the most important thing. And it's all done by interactions of cellular receptors. And we'll talk about this more next week. But CBD is a really profound, it affects the cell, the inside of the cell, the nucleus, through what we talked about, those PPRs or the peroxisome We'll talk about it more in detail next week, but
Perfect. Perfect. And guys, I quickly want to put a quick disclaimer statement here. The statements made in the CBD 101 series have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. ALLUR is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Please consult your physician before use. So that's very important note, guys, for everybody out there. ByDzyne and Dr. Sharma is coming together each Monday to give a service to help educate and help you get questions answered from the man himself. Like every day when I talk about our products, every day when I talk about Dr. Sharma, I ask the same question. Do you know anyone who's seen 35,000 people specifically with CBD? And a lot of people say no. So to me, Dr. Sharma is probably the forefront, the expert in the field of CBD because of his experience, 35,000 plus. So two more questions, Dr. Sharma, before.
Sounds good.
I mean, it just makes this episode go so much faster, but at the same time, it's much longer too, which is a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
So,
more information.
Perfect. Karen Young said, you mentioned SIBO, SIBO. If a person were to take CBD on a regular basis, one, do you think it might help repair the lining of the gut and therefore help with the absorption of nutrients better?
So I do believe that it will help decrease inflammation, not only in the lining of the gut, but also the inflammation that's associated with the muscles of the gut, the blood vessels that supply it. So I do believe that you'll have improvement if you're using CBD regularly. Great question.
Perfect. Next, at the same time, we have Jenny Miller saying, I would love to have a CBD 101 on helping with addictions. How to use CBD most effectively with this? That's a good topic. Jenny Miller's asking. Let's see. Everybody's saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So Dr. Sharma, I mean, I think it's been a successful episode with the conversation style, and I want all brand ambassadors out there to drop some love for Dr. Sharma, who thought of this amazing idea so that you guys can get closer to Dr. Sharma, for him to get to know you. And each week, as you come up with questions, it will inspire and give Dr. Sharma some ideas of what to talk every single week. And at the same time, you may be talking to a prospect right now. You may be talking to someone that's specifically about CBD and they're asking you some questions that you don't know the answer for. And there's two things that you can do. Number one is you can say, hey, come on Monday and let's ask Dr. Sharma. Number two, you can ask Dr. Sharma on Monday and get back to your prospect to show the type of company ByDzyne is. You know, constantly I get told that, hey, I can't believe that ByDzyne is not even 1 year old yet, but I've been with the company for the last 10 years and they don't even have half the tools to support me at my company. So ByDzyne is a very easy choice for many people out there. But hey, Dr. Sharma, each week, thank you so much for giving us your time. Can't wait for everybody to see you in person and for you to continue loving people, helping people, and spreading the message of CBD, Dr. Sharma.
You bet. My pleasure.
But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say something very big right now. So don't log off yet. Do not log off yet. Dr. Sharma, you know, he's seen 35,000 patients. So I don't know if I'm crossing the line right now, guys. Guys, do you want to hear the information I have, or should I just save it for next week? Guys, do you want me to tell you the information I have right now? I'll save it for next week. I just need you to tell me, because if I don't really get a response, then I'll just save the very critical information I have about doctor formulated products to maybe next week or maybe next month. I don't know. I really don't know, but I don't see anything coming on the Facebook because there's a delay, Dr. Sharma. So
that's
give
right.
it 30 seconds. And in 30 seconds, I might say, oh, we're done. Let's close. But everybody's commenting right now. It's coming through. It's coming through. They said, now, please. Yes, now. Karen Young goes, now. Naj says, now. Charles says, let's hear it. Sly says, Chad, now, bro. Well, okay, guys. So Dr. Sharma and our marketing team, well, obviously, our marketing team is to make the branding, but obviously Dr. Sharma, with his formulation and his experience, is to create some amazing products. So all I have to say is stay tuned. It is closer than you think. If I were you right now, I would talk to their friends who show prospects that show interest in CBD and kind of get to know them better, build that relationship and understand what they're looking for CBD to do. And when we come out with more information, all I can say is it is just not one thing that's coming out. It's not even two things. It is maybe more, because I really see, I love Dr. Sharma. The products that he has created or is creating for us, he's created for us and creating for us in the future is through experience, is doctor formulated. There are many companies out there that is promoting CBD. But one thing I would say about our CBD is, number one, is doctor formulated. We got C of A's, the certification of analysis to back up everything we have. And we want to give people what is not just a trend or a hype. I'm not talking about CBD, but CBD ways of being marketed out there. We want to bring you just core, great CBD products. And under the ALLUR brand, Dr. Sharma, I mean, isn't it such an amazing name? All You Are. And I think that is branding for us, because that's what we want CBD to do. Well, people being talkative right now, Dr. Sharma, now they know there's something in it for them. They're commenting. They want to know what's in it for them. And they say, come on, tell us. Well, Dr. Sharma, we can't tell them right now. We're gonna save it. We're gonna save it. And I can't wait for everybody to try the stuff that's coming out. It's gonna be, sorry, I'm getting some comments from people. They're being really mean to me right now, Dr. Sharma.
No.
A second ago, they were like nice to me. And now I'm getting some private messages that they didn't mean to me. No, I'm just joking, BD. I'm just joking. But guys, stay tuned. Maybe next week, we might have a sneak peek. Maybe next week, I don't know. But all I know is that through our, what's where, should I say this without giving it away? Through some of our people, not brand ambassadors, some of the corporate team who has been using these products for not just a short period of time, but for a long period of time. Naj goes, that's not fair. For a long period of time, it has been amazing. And I tell people that, of course, it's amazing because it's Dr. Sharma. Dr. Sharma is amazing. He has seen CBD patients over 35,000 and with an amazing product. And obviously we got the ByDzyne standard, the look. Some people have seen the look and feel, and I'm going to tell you this. At Valentine's dinner, right? So Natita and I were at Valentine's dinner, and we had like different versions of how it should look like. Natita virtually go, excuse me, sir, like talking to the gentleman with his wife on the next table, said, excuse me, sir, I know it's Valentine's dinner, but can I just borrow your eye for a second? Which one looks better? And she brought out a phone and gave 3 images of the product and said, hey, which one is more eye-catching? And that's the thing about our marketing team. That's the thing about Natita. We want to make sure that the product itself will give that initial attraction, number 1. And number 2, after taking it, it will give the stickability, right? So like, for example, for myself, when I first met Natita, when I first saw her photo, man, I was attracted. I was like, man, she's gonna be my future wife, but I haven't really talked to her yet, right? So then after talking to her, there was the stickability because, oh, initial attraction got me. But once I got to know her, Dr. Sharma, she really got me. So we're using the same concept here. We want people to see the products that you're formulated and they go, wow, that's sexy. I'll just get it based on how it looks and what it says and the name. And then we want them to use it. And then they go, you know what? Not only is it sexy to look at, it's making my body feel sexy. It's working, right? So I love to have fun, right, Dr. Sharma? You know, it's good to have fun.
It is.
So ladies and oh, not just go. That's true. They call Natita boss lady. So guys, if you want a sneak peek to see what we have next week. See, I'm thinking about Natita right now. I lost my words right now. Drop a number one or say, I want a sneak peek, and you never know. Some events coming out, I believe, you know what, I'll give you details. I believe there will be an event in the LA area, maybe a brand ambassador doing an event next, at the beginning of March. And then at the end of March, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a special training. Well, not us, that we're gonna get a group of people together and we're gonna go to a special event. One thing that Tita and I, we are the type of leadership that we want open leadership. Basically meaning that there's a lot of good people out there. So instead of us pretending, or instead of us being the expert, we're ByDzyne. So we partner with experts. Like for example, Dr. Sharma is the best of the best. So I can't get on this episode and start talking about CBD, even though I have no experience at all. So we partner with the best of the best. So we have the ability, end of March, to partner with one of the best in network marketing with a huge line of experience. And they're great friends of ours. We'll talk more about that as it comes closer. But there's so many things that's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone, I want you to drop some love hearts for Dr. Sharma, for him to bring up this new way. Think about the questions you have during the week. Bring it in. So with that being said, guys, having a lot of fun. Love what we do here. I'm getting messages. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting messages left, right, and center. But Dr. Sharma, thank you so much once again. Love the way that we do this way. Let's continue for next week. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so hey, BD Nation, another episode done. More to come. Once again, my name is Chad.
Dr. Sharma.
And we live our life by design. See you guys. See you next week.